We're 2 weeks out of the finals and it's round 17 football from current Rolton Oval, with Old Ignatians enjoying their last couple of weeks as a Division 1 club and looking to cause an upset against a finals destined Broadview Tigers this afternoon in the Adelaide Footy League here on Filming Footy. Every other game, Division 1 of course, live on demand right now on the Filming Footy YouTube page. Jack Moore joining you alongside Jad Gosson for what promises to be a match which a lot of spectators and individuals who follow this league could possibly predict. But it was closer than most thought when these two sides met earlier this season. And we've seen in other leagues, upsets do happen, so who knows what kind of game we get today. Jad, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Yeah, you're right. It's on paper, and if you look at the ladder, it looks like a routine victory coming for Broadview. But you never know. Last time they played, it was only 31 points, one of the closest games they've had all season for Old Ignatians. And they'll want to hopefully get more of the same and even try and find a way to sneak a win, because we know, they're Div 1 for a reason. They can definitely have the quality to try and cause upset and try and get another win in their season.
As for Broadview, they've left a couple of individuals out of their best 22, including the ruckman turned forward Logan McKinnon-Collins, but he's replaced by a handy type, a man who has had lots of AFL experience and played, of course, in a Glenelg Premiership side. Jesse White is out there for Broadview this afternoon, which we haven't been told is his official retirement game. Of course, having played in the Sandfield this season, doesn't qualify for finals should Broadview make it. So it could be he's going to start his first ruck this afternoon, one to watch. And also coming into the side is a brand new player, number 19, Jai Hart-Kelly. As for Old Ignatians, as I mentioned earlier, they are officially relegated. So 2 more weeks to enjoy Division 1 matchups.
Yeah, and they got probably one of the best facilities in the league, so thanks for having us today. And I'm sure all the experience they got from this year, if they can keep some of the players who experienced the relegation, they'll be handy for next year to try and push for promotion. So I guess that's kind of the beauty of this division, they can go back and go back to a division which might suit them better and hopefully get promoted.
All right, umpire holds the ball up and looks like we're ready to go. 2 weeks out from a finals race, and White uses all his experience and strength to hold off and win the ultimate and first hit out. We're here, of course, thanks to Dartfish and Archie's, support of our scoreboard sponsors, and Buddy Bet and the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. Farmers Leap Winery have padded away the Coach of the Week award and the Roll the Dice Media Award for Player of the Year. Thirsty Camel Goal of the Week and Bianco Mark of the Week. It's moved just a little bit forward of the opening throw up in the middle of the Karen Rolton Oval, and a fantastic venue for footy and being held in the contest. Old Ignatians, the first inside 50, would you believe that? And the first shot on goal! And the crowd go pretty wild here. They weren't expecting that. Kelly's got one. Old Ignatians off to an unexpected start.
Yeah, they definitely will be happy with that. Got the free kick, their first inside 50, and they made the most of it. Really well played by Kelly. Good small forward goal. Read the flight of the ball where the big forwards flew. He was at the feet of them and snapped a goal to get the early lead. They'll be very happy with that.
Great start, Max Kelly. The coaching staff for Broadview would be rather stunned. Jad mentioned it was a closer affair last time these two sides met, only being 39 points, and with Jesse White in the ruck, you'd expect midfield dominance. They go at it once again. And getting over the ball in the pink boots, and it's going to be another clearance if they can execute this perfectly. They can. Lovely kick coming from Vanderdew, inside 50, number 2, in the space of a couple of minutes, and Broadview this time the first to it.
We mentioned, they got a few players out, so it might take them some time to gel and get that chemistry with some of the new players in and players they're used to having out there being rested. But Old Ignatians want to make the most of that period and try and dominate and get some scoreboard pressure early.
They say you shouldn't flirt with form. Only one goal on the board, but Broadview looking to make finals. We saw last week with Tea Tree Gully securing an important upset victory against Shock. You can never turn up and expect the points to be yours before a ball is kicked. White taking it out of the ruck, and it's going to be unlucky. It's going to gain about 60 metres, but it's going to come right back over his head. As Old Ignatians have it out of side, Karen Rolton Oval. Also, 2.5 minutes played.
Sorry, Jack. Also, we saw obviously Broadview lose last week to St. Peter's, which is a bit of an upset in that one himself, who was sitting second last on the ladder. So definitely they should be aware that the upsets can happen. It happened to them last week. Now they go forward again. Nice mark to just progress the ball forward, looking for their options. Thinking about bong inside 50 or trying to find a chip. Does a bit of a both and does go inside 50, but takes a nice mark just on the edge of the 50. Is Old Ignatius. They'll have. Looks like he wants to have a shot here. He's gone way back, so it's going to be a good run up for him to take a shot. Bright green boots.
Really nice hands. Jones, it looks like. The numbers a little bit hard to decipher on the back of these jerseys, but the blue boots, and we'll hear soon enough who it might be.
Jones, yeah, from outside 50 with the left foot. Straight over the umpire's head. Beautifully kicked. And Old Ignatius off to a dream start. 2 goals. The first 2 goals of the match off to a 12 points to nothing lead early on.
Well, for Broadview, their women are in action with 2 crucial finals at Broadview Oval this afternoon. They seem to have forgotten the men about actually switching on, because Old Ignatians have come out of the blocks firing and they're off to a rather unlikely start. I think you would have got any old odds if you were to tell me that Old Iggies would have kicked the first 2 in the space of 4 minutes. A team beaten by more than 80 points more times than not. Only got those 2 more weeks of Division 1 footy to enjoy, and they're going to enjoy it if the first few moments of this stanza is anything to go by. And a lovely tackle. Socks up. Means business. Kennedy walks away. White in there for the ruck. Once again, he wins it down, looking for Danny Elliott, ground level. He's been one of their best on-ballers and one of the best on-ballers in the competition all season. At the back, Layden, handball. Kennedy, right spot, right time, but turns it over. That's more like the Old Ignatians we've come to unfortunately expect. But great pressure and hassling from Broadview to force that turnover, and a lovely kick inside 50. Looks like it may be the debutant, Hart Kelly. So 45 out, slide angle, Hart Kelly. He's coming to the side this week. And a chance to get his day started on the right note. The Tigers have been rather quiet so far. Chance to roar. He puts it all into it, but it's going to fall just short and harried across. And the goal umpire down there has his first job to do with the afternoon. On the men in green in the field, Paul Smitheram and Tony Simons. Boundary, Eli Courtney, Mark Priest. And in goals, James Turner and Robert Arrigo. On the Sportal scoreboard, Old Iggies, 2 straight, 12. Broadview, 1 behind. We've just ticked over 6 play.
They kick along to the wing now, and they get a free kick for push in the back, going the way of Broadview actually. The ball with Jaden Ryan, the vice-captain. He goes in board towards White. White plays on. Long into the 50 now. 2-on-1 in defence by Old Ignatius. There's a crowd now coming to join in. And a big tackle forces the free kick with a high. Just went a bit above the shoulder and it gets a free kick, so that will relieve the pressure now and go out of their defence. Goes backwards. Just trying to find some uncontested marks. Decides to take on the man on the mark, takes a bounce and kicks it nicely. So just chipping it around, keeping the possession early, which is a good sign to see, but when they need to, they take a bounce just like there. Now they try and speed it up to try and get inside 50, but it's turned over. And through Little and through a few marks in defence, should be able to clear it. Here is Broadview.
Mackenzie at full back. It's very clear to my eyes that Old Ignatians have been given a bit of a free leash to take the game on. We saw Emerson running out of half back moments earlier with the free will and a little bit of a leap.
Wow.
See ball, get ball. Play it quick, play it fast, play it hard. You're not going to be in this division for much longer, so you might as well enjoy it while it lasts.
Elliot Mitchell, I watched him a few weeks ago against Prince Alfred. He was in defence, taking all sorts of intercept marks. Probably one of their best players on the day, despite obviously losing by a bit of a big margin that day. But he sneaked up forward and took a very nice mark.
So Old Ignatians throwing the magnets around early. Elliot Mitchell inside 50. Strong mark above his head. And Elliot Mitchell is throwing the cards up in the air and they're falling Old Ignatians' way. 3 goals early. Safe to say Broadview were a little bit stunned. Sportal scoreboard, 3 straight, 18. Broadview 1 behind, a margin of 17 points with 8.5 gone. If you've been following the Adelaide Footy League all season, doesn't need to be said, but if you're a new viewer, Broadview, this is a must-win game for them, and you chalked it up. Prior to this, they have a friendly fixture leading into finals, but their place is not guaranteed, and White, G bites off more than he can chew. He's taken a step down to Adelaide Footy League level, but you still got to be quick with your hands. Umpires will get you every time. They did, and the right free kick was paid. We're inside 50 again, bit of high contact. Umpire says no, handball's quick. Old Ignatians, they're running on top of the ground.
Unlucky there to go out of bounds. He thought he kept it in, but still a stoppage inside their forward 50. Could be a dangerous situation here to try and get the 4th on the Sporter scoreboard. Who thought we'd be saying that? The tap to no one in particular, and it is cleared away, but again, just hacked away. No one really there to collect it. And they do get another inside 50 is Old Ignatius, but read it well by the intercepting defender. Goes to clear it now and find some marks to get out of the defence. Again going backwards, so not quite as decisive as we thought, and cut off by Vandergaard. Vandergaard now looking for inside 50. Hesitates a little bit but still gets his kick to target. Kelly, who was the first goal scorer of the game, again smothered and pushed in the back with his mark. A little bit unlucky, quite a decent tackle, but the umpire just said he leaned into his back, so gave away the free kick, and now Broadview go forward on their own. But the kick, again, not clean enough and just really well taken and defended pretty easily by Old Ignatius, considering everything that kick created, and is rushed behind. So behind there, only the second behind for Broadview, 0-2 on the Sportal scoreboard.
On the outer wing, mark dropped. Should have probably taken it. And Kennedy follows up with a bit of pressure, but it's not going to do too much. Broadview inside 50 and normal service resuming slowly but surely. Really smart and swift opening from the Iggies. And you can't say the crowd aren't involved. Few goals is going to give you the support you need. But Broadview really do need a settling goal, and this one would be right on time. Mackenzie comes in, umpire watches it sail through. And Lockie Mackenzie, gee, that's a nerve settler if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, they really needed that one. Not off to a good start, conceding the first 3 goals to a team there quite a bit higher on the ladder, but yeah, they needed a nerve settler, and you're right, it was a good kick still. Need a lot of work to get through, and yeah, it was nicely done. First goal on the game for them, and brings the margin down to 10 points. So obviously still early days and the gap's not too far, but really impressed so far by Old Ignatius. They've done well, and even that goal was just a bit unlucky on their end to concede the mark. So
Mackenzie's 9th goal of the season, and here we go. Broadview have woken up all of a sudden. And it's Alex Day here who's taken a strong mark, and if you're going to wear those boots, you better kick goals. And we'll see how he does. He's going for the colour matching outfit and looking pretty sharp. Improves the angle slightly, and that ball's looking good. He's got his 3rd goal of the season in his 10th game. One of these young bright sparks for Broadview as Anyang comes off to chop out. And Broadview have woken up. Old Ignatians a brightly sparking start. The Sportal scoreboard, bit of parity restored. Still not quite there for Broadview though. 12.5 goal on Old Ignatians. 3 straight, 18. Broadview 2-2, 14, lead of 4 points to Iggy's.
Yeah, Alex Day, I guess you could say it has been his day with an early goal. And right in front of us is the Alex Day cheer squad. So
he might have some Day relatives in front of us here. They were very excited with that last goal. So, as I said, you wear those boots and you make them count. You did. Beautiful choice. I'd go with the same and most likely fail at every opportunity. So he's got a bit more talent than me. Meanwhile, back out in the middle and Kennedy, lovely clearance. They've won about 4 or 5 clearances now out of contest. It's a really good start from the Old Ignatians perspective. Playing in front is where you want to be when it comes your way in defence, and just getting down and... Gee, Jack Ginnivan must be his idol because he just dropped at the knees, he won the free kick, and away they go. The kick's not clean, it's going to come back, but it's a great strong tackle coming in. And a ball up on the outer side.
Yeah, a bit unlucky. Right idea from Old Ignatians, just really putting the pressure on in the forward 50, trying to get that turnover, but just caught him a bit high, yeah, like you said. But Broadview now clear onto the wing. Again, not the cleanest, the kick missing his target, the handball missing target, but they do butter up nicely and go backwards to go forwards. That kick just long and high, over the top of everybody, but is marked. They spin around now, straight into the 50, one-on-one, touched nicely, but given away a free kick. So
yeah, just had a handful of his jumper at the back. That's why he couldn't put the second hand up in that marking contest.
Yeah, he put one hand up, and as you said, the other one restricted. And then now they go quickly onto the wing, take a nice mark, and controlling the possession as best they can through the middle of the park.
Nader, quick handball, and they're away and they're off. Gee, some sprightly run early from Kennedy. He's been great. Try and take the game on. Sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't. Bradley Jones, he found out the hard way. And all alone, about 20 out from goal. Day pops up in the right spot. A chance to put Broadview in front. Sprinting out of the blocks early, Iggy's, but taking the game on, making mistakes. Ball flying right back over their head, and Day makes the ball fly right over the goal umpire's head. And they're calling for a fresh Sharon because he's kicked it a long way away, has Day. As Broadview take their rightful place, if you were to ask any of the Broadview associated fans in front in this game. It's taken 16 minutes, but 3-2-20. 3 straight 18, a minor lead of 2 points. I must say, Jad, I've really loved the way Old Ignatians are taking the game on, and they look to be having fun out there, and when there's nothing left to play for, at least you can get out there and have some fun with your mates. And you saw in the opening stages the game was falling for them. The kicks were hitting, but just a few more mistakes creeping in now.
Yeah, especially, you're right, but as you said, you know, when you're near the bottom against a team you're not favourites against, it's easy just to say, oh, we'll defend and keep the score low for both teams if they can. But yeah, they've been taking it on, they've been putting good pressure, even in the forward half, which is very important. And as you said, a few more mistakes creeping in now, but no reason if they can just clean up a few of those little things. We've got a good contest on our hands for sure. The ball finally now returned to the middle. Took a while, I think. One of the crowd members ran to the park and just kicked it back, so we're back in the middle now. 2 ruckmen fly, no one really taking a clean tap, so the ball stays not far from the middle. Soccer kick forward by Broadview, but ran over the ball is his teammate, and now they try and get it away through McCarthy. Nicely taken. chipping it about before bombing it into the 50. A few there, players there, takes the nice position to take the mark, just couldn't take it. Ball still alive here for St. Ignatius in attacking sense, but intercepted straight away and now rebounded the other way. They've got Broadview have runners everywhere, overlap runners, and now he takes a bounce and has a kick through the middle of the ground, right over the top to the one-on-one, one-on-two, but he's rushed behind eventually, and they take the game on again here.
Day was hunting his third, just didn't fall from him. He ran a long way. Umpire said, you ran about 14.9 metres, so I'm not going to ping you. It's the old Ignatians, when they go forward, they commit everybody to every forward thrust, and it leaves massive gaps at the back. And Broadview are taking every single one of them and are pushing the backs going the way of Iggy's, just to release the pressure. But it almost worked, that last inside 50 for old Ignatians, the dropped chest mark.
Yeah.
And you can see they're caught in two minds between just slow, sharp ball movement and just take the game on. Well, Kennedy's not. He takes it on straight away. On the near wing, bit of a fumble. Handball coming from Jones. And he kept running. Spencer's been good in the early stages. This is Kennedy. Big boom. Inside 50 where Broadview had 4-on-1. They've put defensive numbers behind the ball. The coaching staff just have a little bit of worry and a bit of concern. White puts the hand out. Ball goes over his head. He butters up nicely. Little. A couple of SANFL veterans combining, if you don't mind, in this midfield for Broadview, who are on a finals charge. Day ran past it. Couldn't get the handball. And a smart kick back in the middle of the ground finds arguably their best midfielder in Danny Ellie, and he uses it with that class. Finds Modra. Short option on, and this is more like the Broadview we know. Running in support, overlap, and finding those half spaces for those little marks. It's Lockie McKenzie lining up for his second of the day.
It was good movement there. They passed the ball well, ran for each other, and even those overlapping runs have been very impressive so far. Just people running hard in the attacking form, and he'll have a shot now from about 40 metres out. So
McKenzie's been in their best players on 99 occasions over his career, thanks to Play HQ for those stats. That's not going to come back. 9 goals, including one to open Broadview's account earlier this afternoon, and sneaks that through for a minor score. 3-4-22 Broadview, lead of 4 points on the Sportal scoreboard. Old Ignatians 3 straight, 18. They've kind of stalled, Old Ignatians. That kicks a bit of a floater. Did he catch him high, umpire? No. Clearance out of defence, and they come again. Old Ignatians looking to push the envelope early. Caught in two minds. The handballer wasn't Ryan. Nice little chiseling kick over the top, but didn't quite find the opponent. Kept it in nicely, Manning. And they're off now, McKenzie. Short kick, didn't go 15. He's gone. Got his boot to ball, and gee, wow. Landed in the right spot, and they're just playing with him now. Little finds Day. He'll be coming up for his 5th or 6th touch. And he's doing the Ben Brown approach to go. He's going back about 25 metres here. He's going to really take his time. Just away to the left side, and smart tactic there from Day to take a bit more time, because Broadview have been run off their feet. Old Ignatians full of run and full of energy in this opening term. Sportal scoreboard has them behind by 5. Broadview with the lead, 21.5 gone.
Yeah, for sure. They almost look like they still have the most energy, despite being slightly behind on the Sportal scoreboard. They kicked nicely to Vandergaard, one of my best players so far, and last time I watched him he was awesome as well. But the kick not great, couldn't find the target, so now it's a bit of a scrappy, contested moment, and it will be wrapped up, so the umpire will ball it up here.
Lucky there that wasn't holding the ball, I thought. The ball was on the ground, he dived on it, immediately tackled. Broadview get away with one.
Yeah, it would have been a handy free kick to try and get another inside 50 straight away, but they get it out here through Daniele and through Cooper O'Leary. And now
You've got Cooper in the 3 and Jay in the 33. So it must be a number that runs in their family for the O'Learys.
Yeah, for sure. They just need another O'Leary out there to have 3 O'Learys. But the kick inside 50 from Gotch is nice and finds the target. We'll have a shot from about 50 metres out, about 45-degree angle, to extend their lead. Kick nicely and makes the distance. Big celebration, he loved that one, and get to goal number 9. We'll find out who that is when we have him on our team sheets for sure.
We'll have to confirm that. A few late changes there for Broadview in regards to numbers, but gee, what a kick. He leant back on that and put it through nicely, and he was pretty happy with himself, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Goodness me. If he's getting that excited about a 4th goal against a bottom place side, I wonder if he's still on the side come finals. If he kicks a couple, we'll see him do a lap of the oval with his shirt off, maybe. Goodness me. So Broadview just resuming what everyone expected, and for Old Ignatians, quarter time can't come quick enough, but gee, they've taken the game on nicely, and if it wasn't for a missed kick and half a metre and half a step here or there, they would have been right in this game with a couple more goals. Great fists and defensive efforts. Broadview have now learned it's going to take their best effort to come away with a win. You don't rock up and take the points. And locked in there, right in front of us on this near wing. Jasper Davies over the top of it. Ball up, 24 and a half. Anyang gets to the front, uses his width and girth, and he takes the victim down with him as well. And umpire Tony Simons right on the ball, as you'd expect. Free kick going the way of Kelly. He bites the 45 off. Old Ignatians, they're nothing if not unafraid this afternoon, taking the game on at every turn. Nader had the fist spoil come back his way, but he plays on. He's kept running. He couldn't go from there. He takes a step back inside, looked for something inside 50, but it was covered up. As the ball was covered up, it's spilled out the back. And out it comes. Old Ignatians just desperate to hold it inside. Really nice tackle. This could be anyone's ball. It's going to come down in the contest. First hands to it. Oh, second mark. Just juggled it over the boundary line, and unfortunate. Throw in, dangerous position, Anyang. And Lord, and the third fist over the top. Chasing after a lost cause at first. Many gave up on it, thinking it might have been out of bounds. The umpire will do it all again. 25 and a half gone, approaching 26. Broadview by 11.
Thrown in now inside the 50. Again, Old Ignatius trying to get the ball forward, but it goes out for a boundary throw in. If they can sneak one more here and make it 4 goals straight, it'll be a very big statement of Old Ignatius. So they're not going away. Kicked the first 3 goals and been 4 goals in a row since for Broadview, but it is Broadview who do get the clearance late on in this quarter. 2-on-1 in the forward line, but his teammates are now helping him. Carlisle had a shot, but after the siren, and it won't count for anything. Nearly, with a few more seconds, would have been an extra point on the quarter scoreboard, but that's the score for now. 3 goals, 0, 18 plays 4 goals, 5, 29 going the way of Broadview in the first quarter, but a very solid effort, and they won't be too upset with that one, Old Ignatius, I don't believe.
Here on Filming Footy at the beautiful Karen Rolton Oval. Before we leave you for quarter time, a quick whip around the grounds. These games, of course, available right now live on Filming Footy. Glenunga 25, Prince Alfred 10, a lead of 15 points. Sacred Heart 21, St Peter's 1, a lead of 20 points. Tea Tree Gully 10, Brighton 9, a lead of 1 point. And Port District 18, Goodwood 1, a lead of 17 points. All those games at quarter time except the Goodwood game, which did start a little bit later, so you'll be able to enjoy the closing stages of that after we're done here at Karen Rolton. The lead is 11 points to Broadview. All right, Broadview up by 11 at quarter time. Old Ignatians out of the blocks in that first quarter on Filming Footy Division 1 football in the Adelaide Footy League. And the teams are back out, umpires back out. Umpire has ball in hand and just about ready to go.
Yeah, so we went and had a chat with some of the Broadview people to find out who that goal kicker was. So number 9 with that fantastic goal, fantastic celebration as well. It was Brodie Pearce, so late change in, kicked that goal, and was very happy with that one, wasn't he?
Be happy with his work, as will Broadview at the end of the thing in that first quarter. They opened up in a bit of a surprising fashion, conceding their first 3 goals this game, and we thought, hello. Oh, it's Day again. Gee, he's having, as you said, in the first quarter, a bit of a day out. But plenty of time left to go. 25 seconds, and that one missed across the face of goal. And Old Ignatians, to their credit, they're taking the game on today. It's going to cost them at most times, though. Day handball. Oh, you handballed to nobody. Oh, you had somebody in mind. It was O'Leary. Little got to the Old Ignatians player after it, and chasing and coming fast towards the footy. Jones, but he has to go back for it. Oh, I like those boots. Flashy, quick, handball. Oh, he put the fist out. Don't argue. Umpire has a choice. But the handball came out just in the nick of time. This might be a ball up. The handball came out again. It's run and gun footy. It's what you like to see. They've just got to get it inside 50 and perhaps pick the ball up first. Here's Kennedy. It's all a bit hard. It's all a bit tough. Can they get a player in space? They can't. Broadview clear. But a 2-on-1 to Old Ignatian. Oh, the big man, Jesse White. Just holding it up nicely and putting it on the chest. Didn't have to stop running. Almost end-to-end footy. Fist came in. Prevented Anyang from taking the mark. And this could be trouble. He's making no attempts. And he's gone. He was happy to lay on that ball like he was falling asleep. And you've just got to make an attempt. There was no prior, but the rule says you must make an attempt. He didn't. He was pinged, and it's going to be a shot on goal for Broadview.
Yeah, he did well to do. It was almost a 2v1, but he did well to get actually collect the footy, but didn't really do anything with it. Got tackled and slept on it, like you mentioned, and they'll have a shot here.
G1 in the first quarter. He was looking for a second. Brodie Pearce couldn't quite put it through. And Old Ignatians, see, by the time I look down and look up, they're off. And outside 50, but it was touch out of bounds. Quick check of that Sportal scoreboard. Old Ignatians 3 straight, 18. Broadview, they're beginning to pepper the goals now. 4-7, 31, a lead of 13 points.
Yeah, they've been peppering. They've got a few behinds though, so yeah, 7 behinds is not really what you want to see. And there's been a few rush there, to be fair, but really want to secure that lead. They want to kick a few more straight ones as the quarter goes on. Another inside 50 now, but way wide. Takes a bounce on the line. I thought it was going to go for over for and the full, but they do well now, as you said, just to take the game on. The handballing and running and gunning. The teammates really helping each other out. Ryan now kicks it, but tackled as he kicks it, so it doesn't go exactly where he wants it to. And Broadview just trying to slow the game down by going backwards, taking out best marks. But the handball was not received well and tackled nicely. The pressure inside 50 to force a turnover and force stoppage inside their forward 50.
And I must admit that I didn't think he was going to pay it at first, but one of the best umpiring decisions I've seen this year, an experienced umpire, Tony Simons. You don't see a deliberate free kick paid in the Adelaide Footy League very often, but that was a clear one. But Old Ignatians perhaps didn't think they deserved a free kick, and he's kicked it straight back into the man of the mark. Short kick, and this is Daniele. Fergus. But it's just those little things, Old Ignatians, and they add up over the space of an entire season to be to your detriment. But the forward 50 pressure was great. Mark taken, handball quickly. Out of bounds, Pearce and O'Leary just on different pages in the same book. Boundary umpire throws it in. Right in front of us, it's a pretty nice day at Rolton Oval in the heart of Adelaide City. And a strong tackle coming in. And the two ruckmen will go to work. Jesse White and Tim Bigg lives up to his name, but neither ruckman win it. Handball chasing after it. Boundary line was threatening. Daniele got there first. And Flanagan's kick inside 50. Puts the arm out, says don't argue. Now he must handball. He did. The handball from Kelly came down the line. The kick went long. Over the back, he was gang tackled by Fergus and Rhodes. Fergus goes in for seconds. And a warm round of applause from the old Ignatians crowd. They've enjoyed the appetite their team has brought. It's only a 13-point lead for Broadview. And they're making little mistakes. And a bit of abuse of the ball not being thrown back on time. The man that gave away the free kick was Flanagan. He stayed out. So on the mark is Xavier Gotch. And with the kick is Elliot Mitchell. And that is a beautiful kick. Gee, that is something to take in Division 2 next season. There's a few green shoots coming through here for Old Ignatians.
A few of the players we mentioned being our bright sparks, I guess you could say Elliot Mitchell with that free kick in the 50 and the beautiful kick for Spencer, who's also started this game very well when he gets to have a shot on goal to try and reward himself with 6 points to his team.
So Quinn Spencer comes in, he's got the name. That begins with a Q, but he couldn't make it work. First blemish on the Old Ignatians side of things. Sportal scoreboard 4-7, Broadview 31, Old Iggies 3-1-19. 12-point gap, 6.5 gone.
They do well to try and get the intercept there, but just slipped through his fingers. And now Broadview trying to really slow the game down, which I've seen a bit of a theme of there. Don't want to really go run and gun because it suits Old Ignatius that play on and run and gun style. So when they need to, they just take it slow and have those uncontested marks. Even there, they tried to take on the game was little and could not do well. So now it's again the contested ball and a stoppage.
The tackling pressure, I must say, is elite. First it was McCarthy, then Thomas Ryan with that last one. They're certainly leaving nothing out there.
Yeah, you're right. The pressure's been good, and not letting Broadview have any of the clean ball or any type of ball without having immediate pressure on them. And it's really gone a long way to being in this contest. As they try and get a clearance now through Little. Once again gone back to go forward, but the mark taken nicely in that occasion. The handball not as nice to the feet of White, who has to bend down and return the ball 1-2. And now they go on to the 50, a nicely taken lead and nicely taken mark there. So that was Cooper O'Leary with the misplaced handball, but did well to get the 1-2 off White, who just used all his experience to keep the ball alive. And now will have a shot at goal is their forward player.
It's Carlisle, and they say never handball to a ruckman, but if there's any ruckman you want to handball to in this league, it's probably one of Jesse White's quality and experience.
Carlisle with 11 goals this season, looking for number 12. And he kicks it truly straight through the middle, and that is number 12 for him for this season, but more importantly on the day, kicks the 5th for Broadview. Their goal kickers are actually really interesting. He's up there for them, but they've got 5 players over 10 goals, so really spread out the goal kicking this season. On top is Russell, who's not out there today, Hamish Rouse from 14, O'Leary 13, Pratico, who's also not out there with 11. So really spread out goal kickers. He's one of them that does get on the scoreboard, and again, he does on that occasion.
Carlisle, 3 bags of 2 goals, if you're to call them a bag, in the past 5 games, and didn't have one last week, and he would have expected to against St. Peter's in that shock loss. And St. Peter's kept themselves alive. On the board today, Anthony Carlisle. He'll be looking for more as this game unfolds. Jesse White just sticks out the Velcro, if you don't mind, pulls it down. bit of Inspector Gadget type arms from Jesse White, and the kick, not quite his best, but O'Leary makes it work. The younger of the two. Just out of his distance range, he decides. And Old Ignatians, as the scoreline just blows out a bit, losing the defensive assignments and coming out to meet it on the lead. Another chance for Broadview to put their 6th goal on the board. All the way to the line and touched over. Really nicely done. You've got to ask yourself the question, will Old Ignatians stick to their game plan of taking it on? Because when it works, it's beautiful. When it doesn't, and it's been the majority of the time, it's come right back over their heads. Short. Finds Van der Duke. Another short option on was Kelly, but he goes even further back. And clearing across. They're on the opposite side of the ground, having gained about 0.1 of a metre with those 2 kicks. And that one is not going to work. Nader couldn't pick it up below his shoelaces. 11 gone. Broadview by 19. But little margins. And little mistakes, that's all that cost you, and all that separate a few teams in this division. White, flurry of handballs, he begun it, Fergus ends it with a kick. He got both hands to it, and the only reason he didn't take the mark was interference. Mackenzie's got one. He was told by his teammates to go back, but the unselfish nature of this Broadview team, they keep trying to share it around. And Yang! It might go! It does! Joel Anyang with the prettiest floater you ever see. And Broadview, well, they're now pulling away. 6-8-44. Lead of 25 points, Old Ignatians. A valiant effort with the first 3 goals of the game. But it's hard to see at the moment where their 4th is going to come from. They're 3-1-19 on the Sportal scoreboard.
Anyang, one of the, I'd say, premier ruckmans of this competition, playing forward today with the inclusion of Jesse White, and not every day you see a ruckman forward snap a goal like that. Very nicely taken, and yeah, get his first for the game, and extends the lead, and also gets a nice rest on the bench after that effort. Back in the middle now, White does his own rocking and then all own clearances, but is tackled, so tried to really give away a 50 as well, so wasn't happy with that. He did the tapping and tried.
Oh, he might go again. Here he does. A double 25. And you haven't heard a roar this loud at Karen Rolton all season. The Old Ignatians crowd have had not much to cheer about, but that's made them get out of their seats. Quick handball. This will really make him get up. James Kennedy just half a metre short. I thought the Karen Rolton grandstand was about to explode.
Yeah, he was really just let everyone down with that touch on the line. Would have been, would have went crazy, the crowd. But yeah, undisciplined there from Jesse White to give away that. But they do well here to lock the ball when they're 50 and try and get another inside 50 now is Old Ignatius. Tapping about, trying to get a clean handball, clean snap. The pressure is immense. They can't get a clean defensive clearance is Broadview, but it's wrapped up and holding the ball, so they will get a bit of pressure lifted off that after the free kick. Back to that one, he tapped it and tried to clear himself, got caught holding the ball, wasn't happy about something, gave away the 25 and then wouldn't really let him run to his other 25 position, so made it a 50 metres. I guess he just wanted to go back to his AFL days when the 50 metres is a thing. The kick now intercepted. Oh, should have been intercepted. Just dropped the mark. Was Vandergaard. But they do well still to put the pressure on the kicker and go forward in their own respect. Elliot Mitchell now.
This being, of course, Old Ignatius' last home game of the season. The home crowd looking for something to cheer about.
Yeah, it's a good turnout. Obviously, they know that they haven't had the best year, last on the ladder, but still a really good turnout. Lots of crowd, lots of family and friends out to watch the final home game of the season.
And just going back to that umpiring decision from umpire Smitheram inside forward 50 minutes ago, a fantastic decision. He dived on it, paid the free kick, and not only, Jad, this pointy end of the season, we see teams pushing for those final spots. We see umpires also pushing their name up as the top few in order to deserve those finals. And a couple of the finer umpires this afternoon, we're privileged to watch Tony Simons and Paul Smitheram go about their business. And they've been pretty anonymous, but interjected themselves with some correct and pretty brilliant umpiring decisions when they have. Broadview looking to make a finals run, and as I say that, he was taken afterwards, and a brilliant call. Downfield, Broadview play on, and they do so because the open number was there. He picked it up, juggled it for a split second, and then he was caught. Mackenzie got greedy. He goes back in for seconds and digs a couple of fists into his thigh. Umpire said, just calm down, get up and get on with things, and they do. This man, I dare say, has been best for Iggy so far. James Kennedy, socks up and all over the place in a good way. Nice short kick. Made him backtrack. It was an option in about 20 metres of space. Broadview go back over their heads, and heads start to drop, and now they're open little, and they're just playing chess now. Jesse White didn't go 15. He stopped. He propped. He couldn't get it on target, but you just see with one little short kick that misses. Broadview looked to take full toe. Juggling the mark, but falling down and not taking it out of bounds. And rookie mistake, take it out of bounds when you can. Look for a reset, and they didn't. And now Pearce. Day goes up, or he couldn't quite clutch it. Follows up, snaps, goals. Day's got 3. Looking for an absolute handful when Broadview are away and not quite out of sight on the Sportal scoreboard. 7-9-51, Old Ignatians 3-2-20, a lead now of 31 points.
Nicely taken by Day there, very nice. Small forward play, he's got 3 and he's been one of the most dangerous players up forward for them. They've not always had the cleanest shots at goal, and 7-9 on the scoreboard reflects that a little bit. But he's been a bright spark in their forward line, really playing well and snapping a tree. He's also had 2 misses off the top of my head, so he could have had a 5 already with the shots he's had on target. But the midfield now just getting a little bit on top as they get an easy clearance through a few of their bigger names. Cooper O'Leary there going a little bit sideways, just setting up the play. You see, we mentioned a few times, they're not really running, gunning, not that free-flowing football, and it's not... when they have tried that, they've actually been caught with the pressure of Old Ignatians is showing. So they do get a nice interception though now to try and clear out the defence. Takes a bounce deep in their defence, which is always a little bit risky, but pays off a little bit. But the kick not the best, and Fergus reads it nicely behind the play. Plays on quickly, sees something he likes, just couldn't take the mark. It's play on though. Day's on the bench, so none of that. His forward craft looking for his 4th. And the clearance comes out of there, but not for long, as Broadview now set up for their another inside 50, but the kick is intercepted. Not the best kick at all.
A chiselling ball it was from Daniela, usually right on time.
Would be very disappointed with that one.
Missed his target. Broadview get it back, and forward they go. Gee, who's buzzing around inside forward 50 there? O'Leary's got his hands out. He wants it. Hodby making a mini lead, but it's going to go to the hot spot. It's a 3-on-1, Old Iggies. They should win it. They don't. Broadview pick it up. Don't tell me it's Little. He won't miss from there. Oh, he does. A man of his experience. And they're just playing with him a little bit inside forward 50. 3-on-1, Old Ignatians. Really should have killed that situation. We were talking about Day earlier. He's got 3 goals on the afternoon, along with Anyang, who's got a single, Carlisle, Pearce and McKenzie. And for old Ignatians, Kelly, Jones, Elliott, Mitchell, and they kicked the first 3 goals of the game, if you can believe that. Since then, it's been 7 straight for Broadview. Oh, he's run himself into a pickle. He just drops it, but he wasn't being tackled, so it's all good. Throw it in.
The inside 50 numbers for the last 5 minutes would be very interesting to see. I think it's all the players been in their forward half and forward 50. And I reckon Broadview would actually be upset. They haven't actually made most of the inside 50s they've had, not kicking too many goals as they could have potentially.
It would have been fascinating to see, once they were up those 3 goals, for Old Ignatians to push all 21 players, not the bench players, but all 18 players inside defensive 50 and push and just hold on for the rest of the game. Now that would have been very fascinating, like you see in the world game sometimes, but you don't see that very often in footy, and 3 goals is definitely not a game-winning margin. Still time to put some pressure on the scoreboard in this second term. We've ticked into time on. And here's Flanagan. Out wide Fergus. He's going to arrive right on time. And a beautiful hand and a beautiful follow-up. A spoil, a kick, a clearance. And it all came from Sammy Rhodes. Correction, Bradley Jones. He found Kennedy. Oh! That kick has almost cut him in half. Didn't go more than about 3 metres off the ground. That is a dart. Oscar Rice is going to have Sharon imprinted on his midriff. Hit him nicely, it'll go back. And in all honesty, Broadview have been pretty good, but it's been all from Old Ignatius' mistakes. And this, for all their hard work, would be nothing less than they deserve. And that's a little bit special from Rice. 4th goal of the day. And I dare to say that they're not quite out of it. Lead of 26 points in the Sportal scoreboard. Some might think I'm crazy. But they've shown the dare required. As we see Day come on in front of us and O'Leary takes a break. Second quarter on Filming Footy.
Yeah, we definitely see what happens when they get those clean possessions and clean marks and kicks, to be honest. Yeah, they're not always the cleanest. They do miss targets a lot, but once they hit them, they are dangerous. And we saw there a few nice targets hit in a row, and they have that shot at goal that they get. They're now running through the middle. Is Flanagan and looks for the mark and does. Probably ran about 20-30 metres by himself. Even took a bounce straight through the middle of the ground and
looked a bit
target.
Looked a bit ungainly, didn't he, Flanagan? There, just I'm not sure he's done that a lot, but he definitely, when it came time to deliver, put it laced out with a ribbon on top.
Yeah, some of those players look a bit like a headless shook, but it's not always a bad thing. Which they get a shot at goal now, 45 metres out, straight through the middle, and it is Pearce with his second. The late change in and been really good to try and keep his place in the team, having 2 goals in the first half, and both of them coming from 40 plus metres out. It was all a little bit too easy with Flanagan running down the middle, picking up Pearce in the 50 metre line, and just shows that with that little bit of quality, Broadview can show to bring the ball and bring the goal, and to bring the margin out a little bit further out. 4 goals last quarter, 4 goals this quarter, 4 goals 10 on the Sportal scoreboard. 24 minutes played. Not far from the half-time whistle. So I want to get one back, Old Ignatius, late, because under 30-point margin at half-time is not too bad, and they've shown glimpses that they can definitely be a threat in the attacking phase. They get a free kick here. Tackled at the ball, straight through the middle, finds a mark. Handballs it off to to big, trying to look for a mark in the middle, and does. Nicely kicked and nicely taken by the leading forward there. Quinn Spencer already has 1 goal, lining up for his second now.
11 on the season from his 13 games, so a little goal for him would be to have as many goals as he's played games this season, perhaps. This would take him to within 1 of that.
Yeah, only Lord with more goals for them, so to equal that. Left foot once again, nicely struck. Sneaks in for another goal. A late goal of this half from Quinn Spencer, his second for the quarter, and be happy with that one. Made the umpire work, but sneaked in nicely. 5 goals to 32, played 8 goals 10 on the scoreboard, 25 minutes played, and takes that margin back down to under 30.
Played in the C grade grand final for Scotch last season, did Quinn Spencer against Mowbray, and recruited over to add a little bit of quality up forward this season. He delivers quality right on cue. Answers back in 2 of the last 3 goals going the way of Iggy's now. They've got a bit of a sniff, believe it or not. Anyang Day, he's walking on air. Just couldn't quite hit his target though.
They wouldn't want to concede now.
26-point gap. Some probably would have predicted more than that at half time. With the first 3 goals, Old Ignatians out of the blocks. Broadview, the next 7. And now 2 of the last 3. He's taken high. Umpire won't miss that. Quality umpiring. And James Kennedy from about 300 metres out loads it up towards goal, but it's not going to get anywhere near. And it falls short, but a pretty quality half of footy. I came in today thinking we were going to be entertained by a Broadview tidal wave. Well, it wasn't to be in the opening stages of that first quarter. They answered nicely with 7 straight, and they lead by 26 points. And if you were to look at it on the website, you would have think, gee, Broadview dominated that half, but Old Ignatians have plenty to be excited about heading into Division 2 next season.
Yeah, and their style really suits winning games, to be honest. They take it on, they take the bounces, just a little bit cleaner, as you mentioned, and they would have had a few more goals even today. And really, I think they should really try and stick to that and grow their chemistry together for Div 2 next year. They're going to be probably a premier team and try and bounce back straight to the Div 1.
So Alex Day has 3 goals for Broadview. Brody Pearce has 2. Anyang, Carlisle, Day, and Mackenzie, I should say, have a single each. Kelly Jones, Elliot Mitchell with singles for Old Ignatians at half-time. Let's quickly zip around the grounds. And Glenunga 47, Prince Alfred 18, a lead of 29 points at half-time. Sacred Heart 35, St Peter's 14, a lead of 21 points at half-time. Tea Tree Gully have kicked away 36 over Brighton 16, a lead of 20. If Tea Tree Gully win that, they might lock up 5th spot this afternoon. So a really important match out at Pertaringa. And Port District 27, Goodwood 16, a lead of 11 points. That game in the second quarter. So while we break for half-time, flick across there on the Filming Footy YouTube stream and enjoy some Division 1 action. Back for the second half shortly. It's Broadview by 26 points. You've come back right at the right time here on Filming Footy, and we'll run you through our sponsors really quickly. Second half about to begin. Sportal Scoreboard, Dartfish, Darts and Beanie, Archie Stongs, Farmers Leap Winery at Padthaway, Roll the Dice, Thirsty Camel and Bianco. It's the third quarter at Karen Rolton Oval, Broadview and Old Ignatians. Old Ignatians out of the blocks early with 3 straight goals to begin the game. But Broadview have since steadied, and with the result going the way it is at Tea Tree Gully, they're winning by about 5 or 6 goals. Broadview really need to make up 3 or 4% to catch the Gullies in 5th position. This second half is vital for their finals chances. They need a 100-point win here, and the margin at half-time is only 26. But a sprightly start inside 50 and just jogging over the boundary line, taking him down over the boundary in a half-dangerous position, but picks himself up nicely and jogs away, so good to see. As Layden resumes his duties, and Nader's just jogged past Little, I saw, and he's pointed for someone else to pick him up. Lucky somebody did, otherwise Little would be all by himself. There he is, sharking the stoppage. Nobody went with him. Old Ignatians almost being made to pay, but coming out of defence with a kick that could work and almost does. And now it's effective and the handball is through. Elliot Mitchell away to a one-on-one. And they're sprinting after the share, and after it fell to ground. But it's come back in, and Iggies just need those little 50-50s to go their way. Jesse White, in what possibly could be his last game, retired from SANFL footy during the week and back to play for Broadview as he was last season. Fergus finds an unmarked Mackenzie on the goal board, the goal sheet. In the first quarter, Lockie Mackenzie. Holds it up, takes his full time. Didn't like anything that was on, but he might like the speed of day if he can beat the boundary line. Taps it back. And Iggy's tap it over. With 2.5 gone, Broadview by 26.
Yeah, we analysed the other results in the ladder, and as Jack mentioned, they really need a big win here to try and close the gap in that percentage. They got a favourable draw over Tea Tree Gully, but the percentage could come to be an issue at the end of the ladder to try and secure that 5th and final spot. Broadview now kicked inside 50 and nicely taken by Alex Day. Already has 3 goals and still doing that beautiful forward craft with that nice lead for his teammate.
So you mentioned
have a shot goal.
You mentioned Day with 3. He had a year playing at the under-18 level for Woodville West Torrens, so and smoshed last year in Divi 3. So brought across and doing the job today.
His 4th goal just after half-time. Very good effort for him individually. Also had 2 shots that were missed that he could have got, so really big day on the scoreboard, and the leading goal kicker, and just extends that lead a little bit for Broadview. First goal of the quarter, they would have wanted that one after conceding the last goal in the half, just before half-time.
Certainly putting his hand up for those Archie Stongs and the Dartfish Beanie as well. His feet might be a bit more comfortable if he continues on his way. 4 goals just after half-time. This could be a big bag for Alex Day this afternoon, but still plenty of this game to play out. 32-point margin.
Yeah, and with finals around the corner, you know, you want to get that form up just now and peak at the right time of the season. He's doing just that so far. White with a bit of tricks there, nearly trying to clear it. Ball behind his back. Falls to Day again. Handballs to a teammate this time as he was getting tackled, but is run down holding the ball. Didn't get the handball away cleanly, says the umpire. So through Elliot Mitchell, they'll clear now is Old Ignatius. Nearly takes a mark on the wing, but his teammates help him from the running from behind him. Now up the field to Elliot Mitchell, who did well to get onto the wing to get that mark.
This has come from Day's confidence just getting a little bit high, a bit too big for his boots, and he took him on. He gave away the free kick. Can Iggy's go end to end?
Into the 50 now is Iggy's. They're a bit outnumbered there, but as we know, they'll always do well to put pressure on the kicker and find that little bit of room. Broadview do well though to run out defence with a few nice handballs and a few overlapping runs. Not the cleanest out of defence, a bit wayward with some of their passes, but they find a way out through Flanagan, who's been good off the rebounding and should get a free kick here, going the way of Broadview.
Professional free kick to slow it up, but it's going to still stream inside forward 50. And the umpire's whistle's gone. It could be a downfield infringement. Here it is. He's taken afterwards. It'll be a shot for goal, about 20 around from Broadview's goal. We'll pick that up on the Sporter replay screen for you, but Cho Anyang will take it, and he'll look back to the Old Ignatians player who gave away that free, and he'll say a big thank you once he puts this through. It's a sharp angle, but these days you just expect these to go through like directly in front.
Definitely, they practice these in training all the time. You always see them in the warm-up too, and then before the match they love to have shots from this angle.
So Anyang go on the drop punch, and that's you don't see it very often, but he backs himself in, he kicks the goal. And a quick look on the replay screen, a cheeky little elbow coming in from William Nader to give away that downfield free kick on Jay O'Leary, and led to a kick on goal for Anyang, 20 out. Didn't go around the body, backed himself in, drop punt style, and did it old school, if you don't mind. So Anyang's got his second. And Broadview, we mentioned they need that 100-point win for that big percentage boost. 10-10-70, Old Ignatians 5-2, 32, a margin of 38 points. Almost 7 minutes gone in this third quarter.
Just shows all the hard work that Old Ignatians do. Just giving away that free kick, a little bit undisciplined, and missing a few targets that they've been doing just caused that goal to happen. Broadview now through Carlisle. Gets tripped a little bit by play on. Goes towards the 50. Handballs around to someone who's free to have a kick. Good pressure from Broadview to not let them get the kick. But eventually they do chip it towards Anyang, but cut off nicely through Layden. Layden read the ball well there. It was going towards Anyang, but he just intercepted in front of him. The kick, however, not the best. They're going back inside 50, repeat entry, and find Day. Day, just very nice football IQ, popping up in the right places, was free, and will have a shot now to try and extend his goals to 5. Favourable angle, favourable distance, about 30 metres out.
Coming into this, it's had 3 goals over the entire season.
Beautifully kicked, and does kick his 5th. Very impressive out there today. They've been their main goal threat. 5 just after half time. He's got 5 of 11 goals for, I think 5 out of 12 goals, sorry, for Broadview. So big percentage of their goals coming through that man, Alex Day, in the yellow shoes.
Just going back through a couple of his past seasons here, Alex Day hasn't kicked more than 3. Kicked 3 last season for Smosh in a game he played, his only senior game so 2 senior games I should say, last season against Westminster in round 11 on the Play HQ website, and he's got 5 now, so a handful. And this could be anything at this point. Still a quarter and a half of footy left to go.
Career best.
Few best on grounds out there for Broadview, and they're making their muscle work now. Umpire said play on. It was touched by the Iggy's defender. Really well done. Nice. Picked up, and kick goes forward of centre. Didn't go 15, and immediately getting down and dirty is Day. He's hungry, isn't he?
Yep.
Really saw the fixture on paper and thought I could have a handful of goals. He's got 5, he wants more.
Definitely trying to secure his spot before finals.
Charging through and kick smothered. Kennedy did well. He's been arguably best for Old Ignatians. Anyang didn't get involved. They back into him and the ball was locked in. So it's a ball up. Directly in front, 30 out. Dangerous spot. Iggy's. The damn wall well and truly busting. They've got the goalkeeper back on the line. And the 44-point lead becomes 45, and credit to Iggy's, they're playing on every single time. They're going to risk losing by 20 goals to kick a couple themselves, and why not? High contact free, they're going to spear it back inside forward 50 though. Broadview, foot on the throat, and it's time to put a bit of percentage on the scoreboard. Nanyang, he can do it all. Handball's off. And add another goal to the tally. Broadview pulling away now. They might have checked the filming footy screen at half time and saw that Teacher Gully are up by about 6 goals. And they know if they want to have any chance at making finals, they need a big percentage boosting win today. And a really sharp goal when Old Ignatians just look to have plugged the hole. As they move along now, 12-11-83, 5-2-32. It's a 51-point lead. Broadview really asserting their dominance. Out of clearance, inside 50, and all over the park. Umpire throws it up and we're underway again. Jesse White. He's getting on top now, you can just sense it. And the air's gone right out of Iggy's balloon. Clearing kick, and it's come in, it's handled nicely, and snap, didn't quite go where he wanted it. Out of bounds, 20 around from that goal, and a last possession. Free kick will hand it back over to Iggy's.
Yeah, over that 50 goal margin now, so they'll really want to try and get a few goals here, Iggy's, or it's all going to be a bit too much. But Broadview will be happy with this. They will be hoping that Old Iggy's really drop their heads and they can try and blow this game up like we mentioned they have to do for percentage. As we know, Old Ignatians, fair play to them. They always take the game on. Even earlier they had a rush behind, but they immediately played on. And now the ball inside 50 again and easily taken on by Chol Wanyang. Just a chest mark. Already has 2. Both of them, one snap and one from a tight angle. This one much more better for him. Not much of an angle at all and only about 35 metres out. We saw how nicely he kicked it from the pocket. And again now, super nicely hit, but just to the left this time. Just couldn't get on target, but the technique was very nice. One behind for him and for his team in Broadview. But as we see, Old Iggy's just play on quickly from that behind. You'd think they want to waste time or kill the clock, but no, they just play on and bomb it outside 50 to an outnumbered situation. Broadview now trying to get another clearance, but well done by Vandergaard to get the ball, but only as far as Daniele. We know how dangerous he is, straight into the 50. A lot of the players there, a lot of congestion from both teams. A little bit of a hesitation, so he got really pressured, but cleared it eventually, and now the ball back to Daniele, so it's a bit of a deja vu situation. Anyang's there and a few others, no mark taken, big tackle, and high, says the ump. He almost rode him like a backpack and was a little bit too high up, and a free kick is given.
He did indeed. Last goal going to the stalwart, of course, for Broadview, and one of the most experienced players out there in Xavier Gotch. Summed up the situation beautifully, did Gotchi, out there with his South Adelaide, ex-South Adelaide teammate in Nick Little, and plenty of experience laden across this Broadview team. Their goal would have been making finals, and as it stands on the cusp, we'll bring you updated with Teacher Gully progress score shortly. It's looking like it might be a tall order coming out to meet at lovely mark. Spencer plays on nicely. The socks are up and the hopes are up. And the mark is taken. Umpire says, yep. Just got both hands to it, and a beautiful mark taken directly in front. This will just hamper the charge for Broadview slightly. You'll go back in. You can book this in as Old Ignatians' 6th goal of the afternoon. Let's see if the commentator curse rears its head. So with percentage being a massive factor in Broadview's charge to a possible top 5 spot, that goal puts a bit of a dent in proceedings. But it's a well-taken one from Jones. And Old Ignatians just to get the scoreboard ticking along. 6 goals to 38. 12-12, 84. It is a lead of 46 points. And Broadview need it to be a lot more if they want to push for that 5th spot. We mentioned Teachery Gully, they are more than in control, up by 32. Middle part of the 3rd quarter against Brighton. They look to bookie in their spot. And that upset win against Shock last week could be the killer blow for Bryson. If they lose, of course, their chances are officially cooked. They're done. So they need a massive comeback at Teachery Gully. But right here, Old Ignatians have a comeback of their own on their minds. Spinning around in circles, not knowing where to go, Alfred. Decided to hand it off, and a sharp little kick. Spencer spilt the lollies. Umpire didn't bail him out this occasion because the defender was nowhere near him, and off the races they go. Jay O'Leary, Yang over the back. Took the body out, didn't go near the ball. Out of bounds, throw it in. 16 gone. Broadview well in control.
Beautiful kick by O'Leary, nicely placed, just couldn't be taken, but he's been in the best players twice that I've watched Broadview this season, so very good player. We'll be up there on the between the post best player of the year show. Of course, thanks to all our sponsors for the prize. They get to roll the dice, they get a nice stake in a horse from that competition.
Ready for the spring carnival, we've been told, as well.
So been training, he's been tested, has the horse that the winner gets, and dare say that Jay O'Leary will be right up there. And Yang at the ruck takes a snap at goal, just couldn't find the distance, but they do well to try and get a shot at goal, but the clearance now does occur. But it's 3-on-1 just on the outside of the 50, 4-on-1, 5-on-1, and goes out for a deliberate, or they're just going to have a bit of a chat and see what they think.
Yeah, field umpire and boundary umpire just considering exactly how that ball crossed the line. It was off a handball. It's a free kick.
There's O'Leary now, nicely, unselfishly chips it around the back and finds his teammate, who was in a bit of a closer position as well as being free for a shot.
It's funny, earlier I mentioned that deliberate decision. It probably wasn't a deliberate decision, was it? Because I did forget that last handball, last kick. It's a free kick this season. So the umpire just conferring, as they did there, to see whether the handball occurred before the line or after the line. And again, they got it spot on.
Yeah, it was pretty deliberate anyways, but different interpretation of the rules. And they kick another goal here. Nicely taken, and good work by everyone involved. Jay O'Leary unselfishly passing it off to someone who could kick it in a bit of a more relaxed and better position, and they do make the most of it. So that just extends the lead slightly, once again taking it back out to what it was before that goal, and that was Brody Pearce with his 3rd, so having a really good day out for the late change player.
So Pearce is coming for Day, isn't he? Pearce has got 3 now, Day's got 5. And it's a race inside that Broadview forward 50. But the other end, Jones has a couple of his own. Out of the middle, the only way he could be stopped was a light nudge. Playing in front, nice mark, solid. And he'll just take a couple of seconds to get the breaths back in. But that's a beautiful mark. A mark of the day, contender from Leyden. It wasn't a high-flying mark, but it was one that needed to be taken under extreme pressure. Did well. Up the ground, Spencer. Just going back in their shell slightly, Old Ignatians. The game is beyond them. So what do they do mental-wise? He took it, he took back. He's taken a step back into traffic. You shouldn't cross the road when there's a big truck coming your way. Broadview close in. 52-point gap. They need more. They need a 100-point margin here. Otherwise, their season could be done. Percentage, a massive factor thanks to Teachery Gully. We'll bring you updated with all the scores from around the grounds at 3/4 time. This has been a pretty entertaining game so far. It's been end-to-end stuff, both teams taking it on. and the ball had just crossed the boundary before Daniele could pierce it into the teeth of goals.
I've noticed on a few occasions, I think we mentioned it earlier as well, Old Ignatians really committing a lot of bodies forward whenever they do get possession of the ball. On that occasion they had a few players free on the wing, but the kick just intercepted, so all those players had to rush back and help out in defence.
Oh, tricky handball!
Out the ruck, Little, and snaps it and finds the goal. Beautifully taken, beautiful handball as you mentioned, and the snap by Little was just perfect and gets on the scoreboard on his own. Done really well in the midfield with plenty of actions and handballs and clearances, but gets rewarded for his efforts with that beautiful goal.
Real contender for our Thirsty Camel goal of the week. But definitely goal of the day so far. I reckon he picked it up and just the passage of play, the cheeky handball over the top and the quick snap, Nick Little, and he made it work and he made it come back. That's a lovely goal, and Broadview pushing out the goals now. Just check the handball. Again, it was that Gotch-Little combination.
Yeah.
I think it was. Looking at the Sport replay screen, Hodby it was with the handball over the top. So Hodby doing his best to join in the highlight.
Eyes on the back of his head. I don't know how he saw him there. Beautiful chemistry between the teammates to create that moment.
Dare say it's been a bit of a training play on a few occasions down at Broadview Oval on a cold Wednesday night. Ignatians doing well to hold up now. They're going to do well to keep this to within 100 points. Bright start, 3 goals. The first 3 goals of the game. Since then, it's been all Broadview. 14 goals to 3 after that. They kicked the next 7 after Old Ignatians jumped out of the blocks. They were a bit stunned, the Tigers, but they've roared back into life. Anyang hits it down. Little just needs a goal to feel his confidence boost, and that ball is chiselled nicely. You're not going to find a more chiselled kick than that. And Fergus, he brought out the measuring tape and he just absolutely put it on a 5-cent piece. Lockie McKenzie did not have to move an inch. And the Old Ignatians defender had nothing he could do. Couldn't get there in time. A little bit of silver service. And that passage of play deserves a goal. And McKenzie caps it off. Bit of champagne footy. The Tigers. They're roaring now. McKenzie, his second of the day. Multiple goal kickers for Broadview. Brings up the triple digits late in this third quarter. And the lead is 64 points. Old Ignatians 6-2-38. Broadview 15-12-102 on the Sportal scoreboard.
As you mentioned, they're a bit slow to get going, but now they're really playing well. The chemistry is way up, and the teamwork, as we've seen it on occasion for those last 2 goals. One with a beautiful kick into space that McKenzie just better than the defenders, watching him off the ball with that run, and the one with Little and involving Hodby and Little, just beautiful chemistry, and they've really upped their game and upped the disposal efficiency, I'd say, around the ground to cause this lead to blow out to a big margin now. A repeat stoppage in the middle. Anyang now doing a lot of the rucking while White's off the ground, I believe, and handy to have those 2 quality ruckmans in the team. Really doesn't matter who does the rucking, you're expected to win on most occasions. Modra now with the quick 1-2. Ball going forward, nicely taken by Fergus, spins around. The kick from outside 50, sails all the way through. Once again, the teamwork on display there. Unselfish handballs at the person on the right area, but still a lot of work to do, and nicely taken from outside 50.
So we'll bring you up to date with Around the Grounds, and Broadview fans, this is bad news, unfortunately. Tea Tree Gully 73, Brighton 18. So Gullies are up by 55 points. Effectively, well, not effectively, it's going to knock out Brighton from the top 5 race. It's going to mean that going into the final round, Broadview need to make up probably about 3 or 4%. But with a quarter left against the worst team in Division 1 for a few years here, if they can put on another 10 or 12 goals, well, that percentage gap is going to close.
Yep.
And it's very likely, Jad, that
Favourable
with Tea Tree Gully playing Prince Alfred next week, they might lose that game. and Broadview have Goody Saints at home. You'd back them in for a win there. It could come down to a minute percentage for whoever makes that 5th position. This charge is not over yet from Broadview. It's like they've been told they need goals. They've taken a look at the Gully's progress score and they need a massive win here. Little. And he's getting back off his mark like he knows it, Hodby.
Hodby was the last goal kicker, by the way.
The game is well and truly won, but sprinted back off his mark after taking that ball, knowing they need every goal they can get. Lead at 70. If you're a Broadview, you'd back yourself in for a 9 or 10 goal final quarter here. Every goal crucial. Hodby just brings it back on the breeze. Adding his name to the double goal kicker column, along with Mackenzie, and the goal list is a bit long to read out, so I'll see if I can get through it before the ball goes up. Day's got 5. Anyang has 2. Pearce with 4. Mackenzie 2. And now 2 for Hodby as well. Carlisle's got 1. And I think I've covered it. For Broadview, when it's a goal fest, it's hard to get on top of it. Little's got the other one as well.
Very nice goal.
So 17-12, 114. Old Ignatians 6-2-38.
The last 2 goals gone to Hodby. Both from outside 50.
76-point gap. We're almost at three-quarter time.
Old Ignatius now go forward. One of the rare moments we've seen them go forward this quarter. Nicely done and nicely taken. They got the clearance, which is crucial in modern footy, and just kept the ball inside their 50, found a mark, and try and kick their second for the quarter is Charlie Maxwell. About 30 metres out, not too much of an angle. If he's a right footer, which is most likely, it's actually quite a nice angle, I'd say.
This is his debut. Let's just get around him for this one, shall we? Oh, he's played 3 games, I should say. It's his 4th game in the big time, but he started the season in the reserve. So even though Old Ignatians are relegated in Division 2, they're giving some reward to players who have played well in the Div 1 Resies, and Charlie Maxwell kicked 10 goals in his 13 reserves games. So getting some reward from the Old Ignatians coaching staff. And Judd, I'm going to bite off a bit more than I think I can chew. At three-quarter time, I'm going to see if I can add up those percentages.
Okay.
And see if we can get a bit of a running tally. I'm not great with my maths, but we'll see what it might take for the Broadview percentage to go past Teacher Gully if results stand. So we might need about a half an hour break at three-quarter time
for me
to achieve that, but we'll see how we go.
Get the calculator out, see how you go. I'll try and help if I can, but yeah, it would be very interesting to find out how much goals that percentage gap actually is. But the way they're playing, it's like another gear this quarter. They just upped the intensity and
Daniele
scoring.
Just teased the fullback, didn't it? He looked at the ball and he said, "Please fall into my lap." And gee, who knows? That meter, that goal, could separate 5th and 6th positions the way it's looking. Let's take you quickly around the grounds before we do that. Of course, our score here. This is our main game for the afternoon on the Sportal scoreboard. 17-12, 114. A lead of 75 points. Broadview Old Ignatians 63-39. So, Glenunga 65, Prince Alfred 44. On the comeback trail there, Prince Alfred at a pretty muddy Glenunga Oval by the looks of things. 4th quarter's just kicked off between Shock and Spock. Shock up by 27 points. Teachery Gully three-quarter time 74-19. Goodness, so a 55-point gap. Brighton's season is over, bar a miraculous 4th quarter recovery. And Goodwood and Port District at three-quarter time. Port 43, Goodwood 42. So a win for Goody here, and that would officially secure their spot in Division 1 footy, as would a loss for St. Peter's. So the cards are falling for Goodwood Saints. A goal there, they've moved in front. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, three-quarter time, back with the 4th quarter soon. It's Broadview by 75. Old Ignatians held extra long in their huddle, and I promised you I'd do some maths at three-quarter time, Jad.
Yep.
And I have. As it stands with the Teachery Gully results, their percentage, so I couldn't be bothered working out percentage, but I could do points difference. And that's going to be what it comes down to for that 5th spot. So as it stands right now, Teachery Gully are minus 27, and Broadview here are minus 133. So in layman's terms, Broadview are 106 points away from 5th spot. It's all going to come down if Broadview can kick another 10 goals in this last quarter, and maybe Brighton might come back a bit, and then of course Gullies have Prince Alfred next week, and Broadview have Goody Saints, so that could flip again next week. So it's really going to come down to the crunch as the 4th quarter gets underway. But one thing is for sure, they need to take advantage of this last quarter.
For sure, yeah, we've got to pile on the goals and get that percentage up as high as they can. As you said, Goodwood, I believe, are doing decent, so they're probably hoping they win. That way they've got nothing to play for next week. It won't be a relegation battle fight. And another big win next week could really secure the finals if everything goes their way in terms of the results.
Exactly, and even if Goodwood do lose, if St. Peter's lose, which is looking like they might against Shock, then Goodwood's survival is all but confirmed. Could be twisted in the tail next week. We'll bring you up to date with the fixtures of the final round after the game concludes. But meanwhile, Little, as Broadview continue their charge forward and looking to add their 18th goal of the day. And this is Brodie Pearce, who's putting his hand up for best on ground. He's got 4 goals, I believe, or perhaps 3. I'll calculate that for you shortly. Approaches slide angle and doesn't quite live up to his name. Can't pierce the big sticks, does Brodie on that occasion, but the lead extends by a solitary behind. Minute and a half gone. Sportal scoreboard 17-13, 115. Iggy 6-3, 39. A lead of 76 points.
They've started the quarter much like the last one. Just really getting the ball forward easily and trying to lock it in their 50 and make the most of the ball in those dangerous parts of the area. We've seen Little be involved again with a nice pass there for trying to set up the assist. But Spencer, one of the better players for Old Ignatius, pushing up the field and taking a nice mark. Goes forward but does not get the target. And now we get Flanagan, who we've seen rebounding off defence all day, getting another inside 50. 1-2, keeps running into open goal nearly and does nicely kick it. Wasn't quite an open goal, but he had so much room, could compose himself and just kick a nice goal. Rebounded right from the middle of the ground, got the quick 1-2, and very nice goal for the half-back defender. Done a lot of work in defence and now gets rewarded for that with the hard running and gets that goal to first goal of the quarter.
The Nick Little snap was leading the count for goal of the day, but that might just have overtaken it. A brilliant run off half-back. The 1-2, as you said, Jarden. Just slotted it nicely, and might need to shout his teammate a beverage who just shepherded it through on the line. He could have let the defender get a hand to it, but it went through the big six. All that matters, it's on the board. Flanagan has a goal, and Broadview need to keep the goals piling on, because Teachery Gully certainly are doing that. They've got a couple to start the 4th quarter.
It's always fun to see someone kick a goal and sprint to defence to get back in position.
Indeed, kick smothered. It's trying to go inside forward 50, but he couldn't. Strong tackle in from Modra. Fergus was waiting. He went down, he flopped the arms out, umpire wasn't having it, and the kick is chopped off by Jay O'Leary, who looks to push. They would have been told this is the chance to get some of that percentage back and let's get some goals on the scoreboard, but not too many risks. And the last goal scorer is at the other end of the ground now. Flanagan in his natural position. Looks to bite off a kick to the near wing. It's going to come unstuck, is it? Jesse Wide, the half volley. The don't argue, the handball. That's all class from the veteran. And running off half back now, Cooper O'Leary hands it off to Modra. Modra looks up. It was a Gotch in the double 11. Hodby, 3rd time lucky. And he finds Day, who will go back for his 6th. And if he slots this, he'll would have matched old Ignatians' output for the afternoon. They've got 6. Day has 5. No pressure, young man. I dare say you'll hear a bit of celebration. We've got the Day Clan right in front of us in our commentary position. They'll go a little bit crazy for this one. Lines up. He's wheeling away in celebration. He likes it! And the Day family agree. 6 goals. And he's got 6 goals 2 to his name now. And he's well and truly chasing down old Ignatians' tally of 6 goals 3. Bit of a game and a game on the Sportal scoreboard. 19-13, 127. Old Ignatians 6-3, 39. It's an 88-point gap. And for Broadview, the goals just keep on coming. The dam wall has burst and the water is rushing through.
Nicely taken, and we see him with that big run-up that he likes, but it's worked very well for him so far, obviously kicking 6 and leading the goal kickers for this Broadview team who's piled on 19 goals. Little now out the middle. Seen him do it so many times in this division and other divisions, and gets a nice clearance in the forward 50, but no mark taken. Nearly finds Vandergaard. He's been good all day, but goes out for a boundary throw-in, or a last man rule actually, so it'll be rebounded back into the 50 by Modra. Chips it forward nicely to find Gotch again with that nice chipping kick. Just taking their time, finding the right options, being unselfish, not shooting if they don't think they can have it, and Cooper O'Leary now will have the shot. About 45 metres out he's going to kick it from, but again with that unselfish play, chips it forward to Jesse White. So probably could have had the shot himself, maybe could have even made the distance, but White did a nice run for him, and now he'll have a snap around his body. Curling ball and goes straight through the middle.
Sexy.
Jesse White with a classy finish, his first for the day, and just piling on the goals for Broadview. And as we said, the veteran back at his club at Broadview here, local footy club, and kicks a beautiful goal. Be happy with that one.
It could be a bit of a fourth quarter send-off as Jesse makes his way back into the ruck. I thought they might keep him forward and do a bit of a Jack Rewalt type situation, because of course he can't play finals if they make it. He wouldn't have played enough games this season, having played at SANFL level with North Adelaide. So could be a bit of a Jesse White show, but he's gone back in the ruck. And so shows he's all about the team, a quality team man across his entire career, both at the Swans, Collingwood, North Adelaide, Glenelg Premiership player as well, of course, and Broadview. And Old Ignatians' heads have dropped slightly, and it's all Broadview now, looking to bang on the goals in this final term. He's just adjusting himself, looking to see if there are any other options on. Whether he meant it or not, who knows? But he's going to go back now. And he might set it up, or he might just set sail for goal. But he couldn't find the way home. Sportal scoreboard ticks over. It's been ticking over at a fast rate this afternoon. 2014, 134. 6-3, 39. The lead is almost at triple digits.
Yeah, I mentioned they're being unselfish, and that's almost what they're doing with that Jesse White in the middle. That's what they think is the best chance for them to win. So just keep him there. It's working so far. Don't worry about giving him the goals. But they go forward now, and it is out in the full. So Old Ignatius really looking now to just stem the bleeding a little bit, keep the ball, kicking it a little bit backwards to try and find those uncontested marks and keep this scoreboard from going too crazy. But it's already nearly 100 points, so they were wanting better than that effort. Just found Hodby easily intercepted. Now Hodby to Modra, another inside 50 for him towards Anyang. Goes with the one hand, but couldn't take it. Old Iggies will now rebound and get it out of that area as best they can. A little bit of hesitation is not always good, and a big tackle, but it was quite high, and an obvious free kick there going the way of Old Iggies. Looks to go inbound now and takes the game on as we have been all day. Finding Maxwell. Nicely taken by Ryan. They're finding that bit of passage of play that works well for them. Even if they take it on, it's been working so far, but that ball goes over the top of everyone for a boundary throw-in. Deep in Old Iggy's 50s, they'll have a nice stoppage here, a nice throw-in, trying to get the goal and get one back on in the score sheet. The Crummers do well to try and get a handball to a better position, but no one was there to receive it cleanly, and no mark taken with the rebound, so it'll be another stoppage now.
So Day's got 6, Pearce with 4, Anyang, McKenzie 2, Little, Fergus, Flanagan, White and Carlisle with singles. For Broadview, it's been a day out. It didn't start that way. Old Iggy's first 3 goals. And a late tackle here and a free kick to show that all the oomph isn't out of Old Ignatians just yet. Their last home game for the season. And perhaps one to just take back home with him this afternoon if Spencer can kick truly. He's had a few chances, pushed up the ground as Little comes from the ground in front of us and has a rest. Replaced by arguably their best midfielder this season in Sam Daniele. Right behind the kick from Spencer. Solid approach, kick not his best, and across it goes. So 6-4, Old Iggy's 40. It's a lead of 94 points on the Sportal scoreboard. 2014, 134, 11 played. Can Broadview add a few more goals? They certainly need to, because Teachery Gully are not taking their foot off the pedal at all. We'll bring you up to date around the ground shortly. Old Iggy's know that every goal is gold dust, and that's a mark taken out of the cloudy sky. He's left the opponent on all fours and slow to get up at the kick, and Broadview don't care. They're off to the races. O'Leary, quick handball. Can they go coast to coast in a matter of seconds? Ryan handballed it off, and the kick from Daniele was nicely measured. It's a little nibbling number inside 50. Mackenzie found Modra, and he's got Day on his mind. And this is the kick to put himself in front of the Old Ignatians tally. Day with 6 on the afternoon, and a chance for 7 as Broadview push themselves further ahead. And it's been one day traffic this afternoon. Lucky 7 for the 18-year-old Alex Day, and that brings up the triple digits. Broadview can raise the bat. They're up by 100. 21-14, 140. Old Iggy 6-4-40 on the Sportal scoreboard with about 12 and a half gone, but still time for more damage. And Broadview need the goals. Teachery Gully 94, Brighton 20. So Gullies are now up by 74 points, which means Broadview need as many goals as they can get in the closing stages here.
As you mentioned, 100 goal lead. Not the first 100 seen here at Karen Rolton Oval, of course, one of the premier cricket venues in the state, but they go forward now again through Daniele. And Day's there again with a one-hander.
This is quite some display, isn't it?
Oh my days, what a mark, one-hand mark, and going back for number 8. You see the confidence he has from all those goals he kicked, just easily used his body well to get that hand free and just took it with the one hand, lining up for number 8, straight in front. And he does convert that one right there. The Day family going crazy in front of us with 8 goals kicked by himself. And as you mentioned, Broadview not letting their foot off the pedal, not letting their foot off the throat of Old Ignatius here as they just pile on the goals, extending that margin out over the 106 now.
So came into this game with 3 goals on the season, and with that, well, 10 are in his sights. We could have I don't believe anyone's kicked 10 so far this season in the Adelaide Footy League in Division 1. So we could have a record on our hands. Record pending, not sure, haven't been at all games. But 8 would have to be up there with the highest tallies in the top division. We've seen big bags in the lower grades, but when you get up to the top, it's harder to kick big bags. And the one thing old Ignatians can do now is lock it inside forward 50 if they possibly can and stop Day at the other end. There's nothing else to gain from this one. Lead at 106. Nick Little is going to come back on for a bit of a final thrust. And I mentioned earlier in the quarter it could be the Jesse White show as they look to feed him, but clear out the forward 50 and just give it to Day at all opportunity. Surely now there's nothing left to be gained in this match. The win is done and the Broadview run continues, but it's going to be stopped. Jesse White needs to pause, or it might be downfield. It is. A Broadview fellow was dull at the end of the ground, and Day on ice skates put the dirty dancing shoes on. Danced around the hapless opponent. 9 for Day. Hapless is the term you could use to describe the whole season for old Ignatians. They started well with 3 straight goals, but they've been second best since then. Day's got 9 and the lead at 112. What a day.
What a day, yeah.
What a day for Day. 16 gone. We've got about, you'd probably say 8 or 9 minutes left in this fourth term, and Broadview piling on the misery.
Bit of a stranger goal, that one, with some people stopping.
I called for it, Jad. They've cleared the 50 out, and it's 1-on-1 Day in about 40 metres of space. Here he comes! Oh.
You got an adjective for that?
It's over the boundary in the end, and some courageous play from old Ignatians. They haven't given up on their task.
Nah. They're still pushing hard, and like we said, we love their style, just run and gun, still doing that style. You know, they never gave up on it, not sitting people behind the ball or spare men in defence.
Layden came across there as well, left his man to stop the Day uncontested mark, and Layden did well, so they're definitely not short of courage, old Iggies. They're turning up in every contest. Mark was taken, he wasn't in the contest, so a clear 25-metre penalty going the way of Mackenzie now.
Yeah, already has 2.
And a chance for 4. I think he's got 3 on the afternoon.
3, okay.
I will double check that for you.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Live stats updating quite nicely on the Play HQ website, so someone from the Broadview club pretty excited with this result. Those stats don't really go live very often, do they, on that website until after the game. Anyhow, Mackenzie for his 4th.
And he does.
Lock it in, Lockie. Mackenzie with 4. Broadview pulling away, 24-15, 159. Is there time to bring up the double ton? Goodness. It's not cricket season just yet here at Karen Rolton, but a 159 not out on this ground would be nice, but I dare say they're going to add to their goal tally with what's left. Old Iggies, well, yeah, not much can be said. 6-4-40, a lead of 119 points.
18 minutes played, definitely still time for more percentage. As we mentioned, they really need it, so they're really going for it. Sometimes you see when this lead happens in other parts of the season, they kind of just take it easy for the rest, but definitely not happening here. As he's caught high. So
yeah, Day just bustling after the footy. He's trying to get his hands on that ball any way he can and just caught his opponent high. Pretty clear free kick, but he wants his 10th, and who wouldn't?
Yeah, if you're at 9, you might as well keep going. So 9 today, you said 3 for the rest of the season, so tripling his goal tally in one game. Pretty astonishing work today by Day. Here's Flanagan now, been good all day, finds Little. Nice unselfish play to handball it off, and now gets it back.
Where is he? Here he is!
And goes out for a behind.
Gee, if this was a Fox Footy coverage, have a little picture of Alex Day's face in the bottom corner of the screen. We're on a bit of a hype around him. You could almost say we're on day watch here at Karen Rolton Oval. It's all about Day in this last quarter, but he's just trying a bit too hard. But there's still time. 20 played. You've just joined us. 9 goals for Day on the afternoon, and Iggy's look to add one more home goal for this season, their last home game. You've got to hand it to Old Ignatians. They've come out every single game. They've been second best for most of the season, but they've rocked up, and in every position I don't think I've seen a head drop.
Yeah.
You look at the scoreboard and you'd be forgiven to see a couple of Iggy's blokes walking around, but they're doing their best to compete. But unfortunately, their best is just not good enough across this game and across the season so far. But one more game to play next week for Old Iggy's. It'll be against the Bombers, whose season has been ended against Tea Tree Gully. So a chance, perhaps, of securing a win against the Bombers outfit with nothing to play for next week. We'll see what happens. But right now, Broadview have their mind on a double ton. There might not be enough time left to reach the 200. There's certainly enough time to add a couple more goals. Margin stands at 120. And we started the game with a dam wall. That dam wall is gone, and the ocean has flown through, and the tide has risen to the height of Mount Everest. As Gullies continue to pull away from Brighton. A win for Sacred Heart against St Peter's, so their season hanging by a thread. Goody at the moment losing. So it all comes down to the final round for that relegation spot. Out of clearance, nicely done. Working down one-on-one contest. Gee, Gotch's clearance work has stood out nicely. Day, he couldn't get the goals from there. He tried to be a bit more unselfish. Ended up turning it over.
Doesn't suit him.
Alfred. And a big boot where Broadview are well represented, but the ball missed all the fists. Coming in strong tackle O'Leary, but the kick just off balance. He couldn't find the target. Jesse White hunting. He's possessed, umpire blindsided, could have been taken high. He calls for a ball up.
Also respect to all the Old Ignatians fans, quite a few turned out today. Obviously their last home game, so good to see them out here supporting. It's a bit cold, there was a chance of rain, but here they are. Now through the middle, into the 50 again. They do well, they turn around, they look for Day. Over the top a little, Day's there, circling, trying to get his 10th. He does well to pick it up, spins out of trouble.
Oh, no way!
Around.
Oh, he's done it! There's nothing else to say. It is his day. Judd Gosson, we've been treated to a pretty one-sided affair, but what an afternoon for that young man. 10 goals. You don't see it in Division 1 footy very often. He had plenty of work to do there as well, didn't he? He was held on to by his direct opponent. Nick Little just tried to shovel it his way, and he had to go to work, pick it up below his bootlaces, and on the Sporter replay, I just flick back, and if you're watching the stream, I recommend you do the same. He got a ground ball get. He spanned 360.
Outside the foot.
Outside of the boot. And double digits. Sportal scoreboard now, 25-16, 166. Old Iggy, 6-4-40. He's well and truly beaten Iggy's all by himself, Alex Day. 126-point gap.
Yeah, well called. There was definitely work to do. It wasn't a straightforward just for his 10th. Went over the top of his teammate, who probably could have marked it, so he wasn't always guaranteed he was going to get that shot or goal, and picked it up nicely. And up there for one of the goals of the day. To kick your 10th is always very impressive. Old Ignatians now going forward in their own respect and do have a mark inside 50.
As I've said,
get one back.
As I've said, Old Nation's heads haven't dropped at all, despite the scoreboard. They've been in some games this year. They've been well and truly beaten in others. It's going to be Division 2 footy. We've known that for a while, but they're finishing strongly, and perhaps a goal to just ignite the home supporters for one last time in season 2023. That might be their last goal at home in Division 1 for at least this season. And just something to take home.
Yeah.
And a lovely strike from Elliot Mitchell, who's been one of their best over the season.
Yeah, I'm impressed with him. Last time I watched him, he has 2 goals now. And yeah, as you said, that goal was a bit of a thank you to all the crowd. Thanks for coming. You know, thanks for the support. And hopefully next year they pack in again for Div 2. I think if they play with that bravery that they've shown this season, they could definitely do something Div 2 next year. But it'll be very interesting. I'll keep an eye on them, to be honest. I'm curious to see how they go.
So second goal on the day, Elliot Mitchell came into this game with a big donut next to his name, so he will take home a couple and some memories to take with them back this evening. Every goal was vital in that race for 5th. So Broadview push forward again, looking to add a couple more. There's been a few goals in this last quarter, so I dare say we might see a 30-minute term. We've played 26. Fergus, Daniele inside 50. They've shoved it back in there now. Just falls the way of Rhodes, but he couldn't jump on the highway of goals. It's going to come right back. The goal umpire's barely finished waving his flag, and he's going to have to salute for another one. 26 goals, and the embarrassment continues. Sportal scoreboard 26-17, 173. And Judd, after Old Iggy's kicked the first 3 goals of this game, remember, that seems like light years ago now, the lead is 127 points.
4 goals, 26 goals since then. So, as you said, very one-sided since those first 3 goals. But they made them work for it. The first quarter was pretty even, and the second quarter was a little bit more going the way of Broadview, but still pretty 50-50. But now they've definitely pushed forward and dominated this match. With the attacking has been quite impressive, to be honest, and really dangerous for any team they'll come against coming forward. We've got a bit of a stoppage now on the forward 50. 27.5 minutes gone. Gonna be a few more minutes. So many goals this quarter did occur, so a lot of stoppages. The time will just extend a little bit more than usual. Jesse White still in the middle, still doing the ruck, so good to see, sticking to their plans and not changing it too much just because of the lead. Really practicing what they want to do going forward.
Just going to update you with that Tea Tree Gully game that's just concluded. They've had a massive win, 95-22. So what does that mean for Broadview's finals hopes? Well, we'll tell you shortly. And that goal might damage it if it goes through. Umpire backs away and awards a point. The last score at Old Ignatians home ground for season 2023 is a behind, as their home campaign comes to a pretty disastrous end in the end. But one more game for the Old Iggies fans and believers to enjoy next week. Final score 26-17, 173. Broadview, Old Ignatians 7-5-47. A year of growth, a year of rebuilding, and hopefully for Old Ignatians next season, with one more game next week, as I dare say it is a successful year and they're back up to Div 1, because there are definitely some green shoots, some players that didn't drop their heads, taking on some brilliant options, but the difference in quality once the scoreboard blows out just shows, and Broadview too good, winners by 126 points.
Yeah, like you said, they got a few quality players, a few really talented players, the Old Iggies team. I know they're quite young, and really, hopefully they can stay together, a lot of them next year, and grow together and really push for that promotion next year. I don't see any reason why they can't. They got the beautiful facilities and beautiful team culture. They've not dropped their heads, as you mentioned. But yeah, today is about Broadview with their massive win and really pushing for that final spot in the finals. With Teacher Gully winning, they had to really pile on the percentage, and they knew that from half-time onwards they will all attack, piling on a lot of goals. Obviously the 10 for Alex Day is a highlight, but also some other big goal kickers with Pierce 4 and Mackenzie 4, and their attacking movements was very nice and will be dangerous to any team.
That's it. All right, we'll wrap it up. Before we go, we'll just quickly take you around the grounds. It looks like Goodwood are going to suffer a defeat to Port District, so that final relegation spot still in doubt for next week. But most importantly, heading into the final round, it pretty much looks like this for Broadview. They have a points difference now of -82. Teacher Gully a points difference of -9. But Teacher Gully play Prince Alfred, and Broadview, of course, play Goodwood Saints. So a 40-point margin in both those games, and Broadview's hopes for finals is not over. But hope you enjoyed all the action here from Karen Rolton Oval this afternoon. It's been Jad Gostin alongside Jack Moore bringing it to you. Of course, stay tuned for the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page for a lot of content coming, including Between the Posts, our weekly wrap-up show. But we leave you on this Saturday afternoon as Broadview leave the grounds winners by 126 points.